What's your guys' biggest like comedy pet peeve?
Women.
Yeah.
Okay.
Women with their fucking tattletale-like behavior.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. I don't know. I guess
I'd say comics who are experienced enough to know what shitty things are and still like treating other comics like shit. Newer, inexperienced comics. When you see someone who's like been around for a while and they know what they're doing and they just like manipulate or take advantage of younger comics, promise them things they know they can't get. Anything where you're treating other comics who don't know any better badly, because none of us know what we're doing when we start. So whenever I see that, that's like, I think that's really shitty. And women.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think whenever someone does a joke, a self-deprecating joke about the shirt that they are wearing, I know that sounds super
upsetting. Yeah.
Because it's like you put on the shirt.
Knowing you're going to do the bit.
Yeah. I can't wait to do my comedy.
I got my comedy shirt on.
Yeah.
Can you believe this? How do I fucking, what is this? Like they're always like fucking blown, like they didn't dress themselves.
Yeah.
They've had no idea. Like, yeah, I know what you're, like they come up with like a fucking massive cum stain.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I know what you're thinking. That guy comes a lot. I do. That's actually a fucking great opener now I think. Excuse me, fellas. Fucking get ready for a fucking incredible
Don't talk to Joe
performance.
before a set. He has to get ready, and it's just you jerking
Jerk
off
off.
on
Yeah.
the
People are like,
it's not even a real cum stain, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cheap laugh. That's prop comedy.
Yeah.
Like using your own jizz for a fucking cheap laugh.
Well, the controversy is when people realize that you're just using whiteout, and
Yeah.
it's not even your own cum.
I haven't been able to come since 2014, dude. It's always been it's like when Ron Whiteout actually had apple juice instead of alcohol,
God.
whiskey.
That's Jesus.
Did he really?
Yeah,
When did he start doing? Does he still do that? Or
it's always been that way.
Can you
baby.
imagine how less cool Ron White would have been if instead of smoking cigars, it was vaping?
Yeah.
Just vaping on stage.
Or if instead of the glass of apple juice, it was like a big Monster juice box.
That'd be even.
Fucking high C.
Yeah, he just comes out with a fucking massive pack of high C's
Yeah.
throughout the show. It's like, when you would put in a fresh straw, that was
Yeah.
the audience's cue to laugh.
Oh, shit, yeah, we just punctuates it by poking the pouch of a Capri Sun. And
Yeah.
Well, I guess I can't use their pronouns.
Yeah. What about you, John? Do you have a comedy pet peeve?
Yeah, that's why I baited the question in the first place.
Okay,
But
yes.
so mine is when someone like the bit is about an argument, and then the comic who's performing wins the argument.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's
that's
because like first of all bits are made up in the first place, and then second, so this is just a situation you create. You know when you have an argument in the shower,
Yes.
and then you've got the perfect fucking snap for what the
Absolutely.
other guy said.
Yeah.
And then so you just created a bit where you're just like the cool guy who won the argument, and then everyone claps because of what
Right.
you said.
So after the show, this guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, I got a problem with this and this." And I said, "Oh yeah, well this and that," and everyone was like,
and they just let the applause wash over
Yeah.
them, and you just go, "Who are you fooling?" First of
Yeah.
all, like you made up this situation, and it drives me up the fucking. Because first of all, it's always funnier when you like lose the argument in the first place. Like
Yeah.
it's funnier to be a loser, and then just go, "Oh wow," and then I said, "Oh yeah." Tell that to the Jews in 1943.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I don't
Or
mind
whatever
when
the fuck.
someone sets up the situation and then they say
Very
something
specific.
that's
Well, especially when it's to be like poignant. When
Yeah.
someone's trying to be
yes,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you come up with something that's like funny and almost like you're an idiot for saying this, but it's
Yeah.
funny, that's kind of fine.
But if you're solving racism,
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
end,
yeah.
that sucks.
And then I said, "Oh yeah, that's not what Dr. King stands for." And like that's your punchline, and you're like, "Okay, whatever, dude."
I
like-
love that.
yeah.
I've got a guy
I
at
think
work
there are so many times where something happens and then you leave the scenario and you're like, fuck, that would have been a funnier thing to say.
Yeah.
What I
Oh, I'll
should-
just
yeah.
go on stage and say that I said that funny
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I got this guy at work who, no matter what, like, he's always getting arguments, and just like everyone on the bus or whatever agree. He's always fighting on the bus on his way to work, and he's just like, no matter what happens, it's like, oh, everyone agrees with him, and you just like, and the minute you call out like one detail, all of a sudden it all fucking like he used to work on like you would talk about like an argument. He's like, oh, so you were just like standing on a dock, and then Method Man showed up,
Yeah.
and then you just go, and then what happened? And he goes, oh yeah, and then I said this, and the guy goes, whoa.
Yeah. I saw one comic post on Facebook that they about an argument they were having in public in a bar. So I was talking about it loudly so everyone else would know, and no one said anything. And I'm like, yeah, you were fucking the annoying guy no one wanted to talk to. Like he was just making such a great point that everyone was so stunned in silence they couldn't say anything to him.
What would it take for you as like a bystander to like start a slow clap for someone doing soming?
I mean,
Somebody would have to drop their damn tray in the mess hall.
Yes.
Because when I was in the Army, we'd always razz those fucking green thumbs, we call them. You know? It's like, man, you're going to get fucking killed. I can't wait to use your body as a shield in the trenches when I'm going to go cut out the tongue of Al-Qaeda, which I did.
I can't.
The tongue of Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
That guy Albert Qaeda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I got you, dude. Hell yeah,
okay.
dude.
Well, me and Bobby are just a couple of New York City comedians
Doing
what New York City comedians do.
Do you have any other comedy pet peeves?
I don't like
we
when.
just did.
Okay, I don't like when a comic will still like do a joke and then it bombs and they go like it'll be a joke about X and they go, oh, not a X crowd,
Yeah.
or like, oh, I guess this isn't a history. And it's like, no, we know who Hitler is. All right, all right, we get it, we get it.
Sorry, that might have gone over your head. There was a guy named Hitler.
It bugs me so much. Where they'll be like, blah, 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 and the punchline is apples, and they go, oh, I guess this crowd doesn't like apples. It's like, no, we don't like your shitty fucking joke.
Yeah.
Drag them.
Yeah.
In
I
fact, I'm
also-
annoyed by how terrible that apple joke was because I love apples.
Yeah.
When you started doing an apple joke, I'm like, well, this is for me.
That's for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm dedicated.
It's nothing like jokes about oranges, though.
Yeah.
No, they're apples and oranges.
Right. Yeah.
One of my pet peeves is there is a certain type of comic that needs to be like hated
Put
by
down.
the.
All right.
What's that?
Oh,
Put
okay.
down.
Put
Yeah,
down,
hell
yeah,
yeah,
that
dude.
needs to be euthanized. And my pet peeve is when they refuse to kill themselves. But I did a mic one time. It was like, I know, I don't do them anymore.
Look at this fucking guy, dude, grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 50% men and women.
Yikes.
Like, which is unusual. Because
Yeah.
usually they're like all dudes. It's like 50% men and women, and there's no one type of comedian. Like, it's not a bunch of white guys doing edgelord stuff, but this like girl with like blue hair or whatever goes up and she goes, "Real happy to be performing in this queer positive room," and the whole room was like, "What do you mean?" Like,
Yeah.
that's her opener. To be
Yeah.
like, she wanted it to be like Creek in the Cave, all white guys doing rape jokes.
Oh, she said queer positive, as in all of you guys are actually terrible homophobic people.
And we're looking. It's like fucking me and John Moskowitz.
Yeah.
Yikes. John Moskowitz is like basically like a fey little boy, man.
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't know. That's one of when someone has like an idea of how they want their crowd to respond, and then
Yeah.
they'll say something as if that's what's happening in the room.
They
when
went
it's
in
very
already
clearly-
believing what they were going to
the
believe.
canned crowd work also drives
Yeah.
me. Where they go, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I work at the bank. You go, and you're a fucking asshole or whatever. And they have like the line already prepared
Yeah.
no matter what they say.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's worse, that or the guy that comes in with absolutely no idea what the fuck he's going to do? It's like, so what do you do for a living? It's like, oh, I'm a bank teller. And they go, oh. And then they just keep fishing for the next
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
guy.
sickening.
Yeah.
Well, it's
The John Edward of comedy. He's like, I'm getting a bank teller. I'm getting Is anyone a lawyer
Is
here?
anyone a bank teller, please? I think that a lot of the times it's because they don't realize that they could just talk. They could just keep asking questions until they find the funny. They're like, fuck, okay, bank teller. What's funny about that? And it doesn't come, and they just panic.
Damn. I'd be
Well,
like,
I
do you
would
ever
rather
take a little home?
Yeah, just immediately ask if they commit crimes.
Why not, dude? They'd be like, I can't do that. It's like, why? But you want to, right? Damn, this is actually great crowd work. Where are you from? What do you do?
Yeah, see, I'm firmly against the crowd work conceptually.
Yeah.
I don't believe in it.
Right.
As an artist.
Because you got it. Yeah. It's hard to like think of funny things like in the moment.
Well, not the challenge of it, but yes.
John's like, I don't believe in it. He's like, yeah, buddy, it's real hard.
It's very
Why
hard to
wouldn't
think
you
of a funny thing in a conversation.
Just do your material. You have material. Ideally, you have material.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so you
baby.
could just, unless like there's something. First of all, I believe crowd work should only be reserved. Only the host should be allowed to do crowd work.
I feel
Alright.
the opposite. I feel like only the headliner should be allowed to do crowd work.
Also, okay, here's another thing that drives me fucking crazy. It's when people are doing crowd work throughout the show and the other comics are not watching the show.
Yes.
So you have
Yes.
8 people watch a guy ask how he met his girlfriend
Yeah.
4 times in a fucking row.
So
Yeah.
if I'm hosting for somebody that's a draw, never do crowd work because they came there to see that person. They want to have a conversation with that guy. They don't want to have me be like, "Where are you from?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm from here."
Yeah.
Well, I
I'm like-
disagree because I think the host should do the legwork to take the fucking. They're already taking the bullet of being the first guy.
But the host wants to do
Oh, I
the
guess
crowd
you're right,
work,
right.
or the headliner wants to do the crowd work usually, because like that's like the new
yeah, if they're
bits
a
now.
shitty comic.
Well, yeah, but like that's.
Well, I don't think a headlining act that people are coming to see them are fishing for Instagram reels.
You don't know that.
Okay.
Maybe the headliner is though for work.
I do see.
Unless you agree with me right now, I'm leaving this podcast.
I do think like early in my doing comedy, I remember seeing a headliner and he did crowd work, and I remember being upset because I liked his jokes a lot, and I felt like I want to hear your jokes, not what the person in the front row does for a living.
They can make a joke about the person's job.
They
in the front
did,
row.
but I mean, I'm more of when you first start doing comedy, you become like. I think you're so bad that you need little wins, and it's like you need little things to be like, all right, I know a little about comedy, so I know what I'm talking about. You become a little bit of a snob, I think, when you're new in comedy.
I think like a lot of times, like with headliners, especially if they're doing like multiple fucking nights in a row, and they're doing like 35 to an hour.
Yeah.
Like they want to like break it up, and like it gets mundane having to do the same.
Yeah.
Even if you have like 2 hours of material. It
Yeah.
can feel redundant, so I think talking to the audience helps.
Well, you're wrong and gay. So.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so you're wrong and gay.
Hell yeah, dude, I
Yeah.
win.
Although I've also seen
First one to be
like-
gay wins.
I've also seen like Big J just fucking destroy with crowd work and be
Right.
amazing. So even when I'm like, if I do crowd work, it's only really to set up whatever the next bit I want to do is. Like I can have fun in between
All
there.
right, then I guess I'm an asshole. Then. All right, everybody loves crowd work. Apparently.
No, I'm saying
everybody loves crowd work.
That's
not-
the title
yeah.
of this episode. Everybody loves crowd work.
That's
Everybody
my
was
brother
kung
who
fu
lives
fighting.
across the street from my parents. His name's Crowd Work, and he's got
Yeah.
a wife named Deborah.
Everybody. John is Brad. Yeah, everybody loves crowd work.
I'm so disappointed that it took me until
Yeah.
you said Deborah. Oh, I get it now.
Like that incredible sitcom.
I would have killed that mom if I was Raymond.
Locker Room Talk. Check it out wherever podcasts are sold.